All right, we're live. Hi, and welcome to and welcome to this launch event for Almost Flying. I'm Carter, and this is Levy, who has now made an appearance. I use they, them pronouns, and I'm the events coordinator here at Astoria Bookshop. Before we get started, I want to go through just a few housekeeping things. You'll have the opportunity to ask questions during the last 10 to 15 minutes of this. If you have any questions throughout, put them in the chat and I will mark them to be answered during the Q&A portion. Also, sorry. Also, you will, if you go to the chat and start typing a question with a question mark at the end, it will give you the option to put it in the question box, which is ideal. You can chat with one another in that chat on the right. We ask that you all be nice to each other. We will kick you out if you participate in any trolling or racial, ethnic, or homophobic slurs. Basically, I'm just asking you all to be nice and respectful towards one another in the chat. Finally, there's also going to be a button at the bottom that I haven't put up there yet that offers the option to buy a signed copy of the book. So be sure to click that. Now, let's get things started, and I'll introduce our fantastic guests. Jake Arlow, who uses she, they pronouns, is a podcast producer, writer, and bagel connoisseur. She studied evolutionary biology and creative writing, not as different as you might think at Bernard College. She has lived in various places and can always be found with an iced coffee. Nina Varela, who uses she, her pronouns, was born in New Orleans, raised in the woods of North Carolina, and now lives in Los Angeles in her with her tiny ill-behaved dog, which we were talking about before. What a cute dog. She's the author of The Crier's War duology. Her debut middle grade novel, Juniper, Harvey, and The Vanishing Kingdom, will be published in 2022 by Little Brown. Welcome, both of them. Yay!
Yay! Thank you. I'm so excited. Thank you.
Me too. I loved this book so much. And I'm so excited to talk about it.
Wow. I'm so excited to talk to you. I was just re-listening to Crier's War. I'm obviously a Cryless stan through and through. So I'm ready and excited to chat.
Yes, I love to hear that. Okay, so I have like a series of questions that I've sent you because I like to have it to fall back on. Because otherwise we'll just go off on a tangent. We'll never talk about it.
And that's okay. We can do that too.
Okay. You know what? It's casual here. But first off, I think the most obvious question is Dahlia is obsessed with roller coasters.
Yes.
Her whole thing is that like her hobby is watching like POV videos of roller coasters, which by the way, I did not know existed before I read this. So then I watched them.
Yes.
I did. I watched Boulder Dash. I watched Kingda Ka. I watched like the first one she went on.
Yeah.
And it like, I'm a scaredy cat who's never been on a roller coaster in my life. So I was like having anxiety, like clenching my fists.
Yeah, it makes you feel like you're there. It's a fun pastime. Yeah.
Oh, I was like, okay, I've actually now like experienced this. I don't ever need to do it in real life. Why roller coasters? Like what made that the thing?
Yeah, I mean, I could say it's like a metaphor, but that's fully not true. I really just love roller coasters. And I think like they were over the summers when I was in middle school and high school, I would go to Lake Compounce, which is the amusement park where Boulder Dash is, with my mom and two of my really good friends, and we would go every summer, and it was just like a very formative, little experience. I love roller coasters. I love roller coaster POVs, and honestly, I was just thinking like, maybe it's just because I have, so many bizarre obsessions, but I was like, what could my character be obsessed with as a 12-year-old? And it felt, roller coasters was like, yes, like, why was that not me? And because I was also a little bit of a scaredy cat, but yeah, then I got a little braver.
Probably the roller coasters helped. Again, like, I can't ever do it. Like, I would truly just like pass away. But I did feel like I was getting a little bit braver along with Dahlia as she was going on, as she was, having her adventures.
That's gorgeous. That's beautiful.
I feel like I've gone on one.
Wow. Sometimes literature can be so personal.
I can tell you exactly what it's like to ride the Kingda Ka.
Yes,
But no,
exactly.
it was perfect because like every kid has like their thing. Like I remember, when I was 13, I was obsessed with like ancient Egypt and like mummies and stuff like that. And, like I had like a Pompeii phase where I was like obsessed with like Pompeii and like so it just felt very real and true.
Did that traveling exhibit of like Pompeii, like unburied, ever come to where you lived?
No, and I was so upset about it because I would have been all over that.
I remember going to that and I was like, this is gonna like unlock something in me. And then I was pretty obsessed with Pompeii for a little while. No, so yeah, there are those just like obsessions. Yeah.
There's always like the one thing. Like there's like horse girls, roller coaster girls.
I absolutely respect horse girls. It could never be me. I have become a horse girl like post childhood though. Like I would love to, I wish I had the money to own and ride a horse.
Yeah. I know. Like I remember going to like someone's birthday as a kid and they had it like at the horse barn. We all rode horses. And I was just, like, I can feel this unlocking something. It's not gonna be me, but this is amazing. I feel like it's a like roller coaster feeling. Like you're on this like uncontrollable thing and then you're going really fast and you're like wind in your hair.
Riding a horse is scarier because I think Dahlia talks about this in the book, is that like riding a roller coaster is a thrill, but it's also like a contained thrill. Like you are going to be on a track, barring any horrible circumstances that you're going to like start the ride. You can see how it happens for other people and then you're going to finish it. And like, you will have had a thrill, but like a very contained thrill. And I feel like horses are more unpredictable.
Yeah, anything can happen on a horse.
That's very true.
That's a whole other animal. You never know what it's going to do. Yeah. It's very unpredictable.
Yes.
Oh, and then I guess kind of going into like something else that is very essential to the book. As someone like I'm also writing like a lesbian middle grade novel right now. And so something that's been really interesting for me when I've been writing it is like I didn't know when I was 12 years old. Like I was very much like, I had no idea, I didn't figure it out until I was a later teen and like in college. And so it's really interesting writing, this character who does have her first like lesbian crush when she's like 12 years old. When I was having like my first like straight crushes or whatever. So I was wondering like how did that experience, like, is this similar to your experience? Like, not to,
be
perceived
I
or
would
anything,
love to
but
be perceived in this way. It's not even a little bit close to any experience I had in middle school or high school. I fully thought
that's what I was figuring.
Oh yeah. Oh no, absolutely. I fully thought I was straight and just was like a little bit obsessed with like English teachers and like girl best friends. But like I was like, but we all are. And that was not true, but I think it's sort of exciting to like go back and like retcon, as I've been saying, sort of that experience, and being like, okay, like I did have this like very, very close friendship in middle school with someone who like looking back on it, like I definitely had a crush on her, and like going back and like and now I know my mom is like going through her head thinking like, who was this?
Connecting like the red threads.
Yeah, but I think like, so this like the writing this was sort of very cathartic because it's using those same feelings, but like actually like following them through rather than like having a 10-year gap between like when that happened and like understanding where those feelings came from. I guess less than 10 years, but still a while.
Yeah. But it's like, it's totally different because like, for me as an adult, I look back and I'm like, oh, there's a reason I was like really obsessed with this one female character in this like, cartoon or whatever. And, and then like, obviously like on the page and like something I really, really loved, maybe like emotional as I was reading it, is the conversation that Dahlia has with Drew, where he's like, you can just say the word gay, like you don't have to like skirt around it or call it like, or whatever. Like it's not a bad word. You can just say it. And it was like, it was so nice to read that even as an adult. And I can only imagine like me reading that as like a little 12-year-old like baby gay who didn't even know yet. So that was like something I really, really appreciated.
Oh yeah, thank you. I love that scene too. I think it was like also sort of wish fulfillment of like, what if like a cool 18-year-old had like talked to me about like a cool out 18-year-old had said like, I am gay, you might also be gay, and like you can say those words, and like that to me was very fun to write, and yeah, seems to be a fan favorite for like the three fans that I do have,
including me.
Wow, thank you.
No, but I love Chip, who is like definitely my favorite. Like, I mean, they're all my favorite, but my favorite like side character, because he was just like, yeah, it was literally like the elder that like you want as like a little baby, where he just kind of clocked her immediately.
Yeah,
it was like, you and me
right.
I feel like our hearts are kind of speaking to each other a little bit, and he was just such a great character, and that moment was so amazing. But yeah, like it was so like fun, and like again like weirdly fulfilling to read about, you know, her having like all of these like horrible like crush like anxiety feelings and stuff that was just like transporting me right back to middle school, but in like a good way.
Yeah.
In like again like that kind of retconning way.
Yeah, because I don't think like I never had a crush that was this strong on a boy in middle school. Like I was never like, oh my god, I want to like try on his clothes and like be his best friend and like know everything about him. But like that's like the thoughts I was having about like girls, but like not thinking that was a crush. And so I think like I was thinking like, oh, I wish like X boy would notice me and like you talk to me, but it wasn't like I want to like know everything about him and like call him in the middle of the night. Like it was nothing like that. So like writing out, which like again maybe could have been a sign, but I didn't have a book like this or like any content like this to like usher me into that place.
Yeah. Do you remember like the first like gay book you read? Do you have any memory of that?
Yeah, I was trying to think about that the other day because I actually worked at a bookstore in high school. I worked at, shout out to the Dolphin Bookshop on Long Island, if anyone's watching from here. I mean, I know people are watching from Port Washington, but from the Dolphin specifically. It was an independent bookstore, and I was mostly working in the kids section, so I would read like tons and tons and tons of middle grade and YA books, like everyone that was coming out, basically arcs, everything. And like I'm really, maybe it's because I think once I realized I was queer, I was like immediately like, it's like when you have like an orange Subaru, like every car you see is an orange Subaru. So I think like, that sort of, it became that for me later. But I mean, I know that if I had read it, I would have imprinted on it. And I did imprint. I can't remember. I'm sure I read books with queer characters before, but I remember I think in 11th grade, my mom and I were driving to Maine, and we listened to Will Grayson by John Green and David Levithan, and I just like really imprinted on that book. Like I took it to college with me, the David Levithan POV, which like I don't know, I know we have complicated feelings about I kind of come back around on John Green, but you know we all neither of them are here right now, so we can talk about them. But
sorry to John Green if you're here.
Yeah, sorry. No, John Green, love you, love Hank. You're great again. But I just remember really like being like, wow, this is so like this is a gay character, and there's a gay love story, and like I definitely hadn't read at least like a gay romance or like a happy gay character before that. Which is kind of wild because I worked at a bookstore, and like there were queer books before that. Oh, I think I read for school in 9th grade Luna, which was about a trans girl, but it was very sad, and that was like the only queer book I had read before that. Yeah, do you remember when you were first reading when you first read a queer book?
I remember, I think like it was, I don't remember exactly which was the first one. I think it was probably Ash by Melinda Lowe, which was like a really good first one to have because it was just like such a fantastic book, and it was like a fantasy where, you know, the like it's not like a tragic story, which could have like, you know, obviously those are important as well, but it could kind of like mess me up a little bit as a child. But that was my first one. But no, I remember reading it and being like, and like, you know, not having any idea going in that it was going to be like a lesbian romance. And then reading it and being like, why am I feeling like the entire spectrum of human emotion? And I remember it took me like weeks and weeks to read because I would just keep on putting it down because I would get like overwhelmed and then not know I was getting overwhelmed. So yeah, I was like looking back, I'm like, Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like you really,
Yeah, like,
yeah. I think it is sort of just it's hilarious because I think there's just I'm hoping now that like middle schoolers and even people younger, and I know they are just like more aware that like they're allowed to be literally anything. And so like they understand, they know, like they are seeing, they're reading books, they're like looking at stuff on TikTok, like it is out there for them, and that's so beautiful. But it's simply it's so funny because I mean I don't think I think we're probably around the same age, and I feel like there still was like even just like a few years ago there wasn't that much stuff that we could read.
Oh yeah, and like especially like especially in middle grade, because I remember like like there were a few YA ones, and again like my very flawed memory is not like the barometer of how many actual queers there were, but like I remember like in my hometown bookstore, the only ones that were available were like Ash, and then I think Misadventures of Cameron Post, which again is like really difficult one that deals with like conversion therapy. So that was like but now like there's just like so many, and like there's like all these like side characters and like super popular series and stuff like that, and it just feels like you'll just be reading kind of anything and like come across like a queer, like a gay 12-year-old of some flavor.
It's
of some
so
strain.
Nice of some flavor. Absolutely. It's so beautiful. Yeah, just you know the different flavors of queer 12-year-olds. No, but I think it's so beautiful. I'm so happy for them. I'm so happy to add like a tiny inconsequential story to that like large canon of queer books and media for kids, because like I don't know, I love consuming it now. It's like just thinking about what I would have thought when I was a kid, and like I mean the reason I even like thought to write this is because I had just been reading so much queer middle grade like the summer after I graduated college, because I knew it was out there now, and I had read so much queer YA, and I was like, all right, time to go for the queer middle grade. And I was like, oh, this is the best ever, and I need to write one.
No, it's so amazing. Like it's so like again like really like healing to read it, and she's just like and it was just presented as total non my dog is about to do the scratch thing.
Oh, okay. I mean, maybe we can get a little peek of your puppy.
I'll drag her over. Yeah,
please do.
I'll pay the puppy tax. Here, wait. I'll drag her and then I'll.
Okay, please do. Okay, while Nina's gone, everyone say nice things about her in the chat. Okay, no one's gonna do it. I wonder if there's a delay. Perfect dog! Perfect dog! Oh my god! Perfect dog! Oh, I want this dog to ask me questions. Oh god, you are perfect, little dog. Oh my god.
She's gonna be annoying, so I have to let her go.
Oh wow, that's a perfect dog. 11 out of 10. Incredible dog. Everyone say nice things about Nina's dog in the chat.
Okay, she's gone.
Okay.
I'm seeing. Oh, what a wonderful dog! Thank you.
we've got love to the dog.
Yes, love for Lady. She doesn't care at all. She's such a jerk.
Oh my god, that's so beautiful.
And so I guess like I like kind of in the same vein, like what was the most fun part writing this story? Like I guess it's a very broad question.
Yeah.
I assume like a lot of it was fun.
A lot of it. I feel like everything, like the research, and research is such like a, such a broad word, because obviously there's not like historical research or things like that, but like I rewatched all the POV videos. I've been on a lot of these roller coasters, but not all of them. And I watched every POV videos that I could like write if they were going on the roller coaster, if they were looking at it, so that I could describe it. And like, I could have made up some details about it, I'm sure, but it was way more fun to like watch the POV, think about what Dahlia would like think about it. And I think that also just getting into her frame of mind, like she's seeing it and she's like, because I didn't really know that much about like the mechanics of roller coasters, but she's seeing it and she's like, oh yeah, this like, drop is just like X, Y, and Z, like other drop. Like I definitely don't have the same. I was doing just a lot of research, but I think Dahlia could just like queue up like roller coaster facts. and like roller coaster
I learned so much,
engineering facts. Honestly, same.
I know everything. Like I know there's metal and wooden, but those are not the only types. There's also like spin coasters and hyper coasters, and I know about airtime now. Like if I ever go to an amusement park, I will be the person who does not ride the roller coasters, but is telling everyone else my fun.
And that's such a vibe and a mood. And you can eat all the beautiful like amusement park food. Which,
oh my god, yeah.
I mean, it's
so make me hungry too.
That's so funny because I get nauseous thinking about eating at an amusement park because I just remember like having like eating French fries and then being like, I do feel like I need to vomit them up like immediately after going on a roller coaster. So
yeah,
like
all the fried food and then immediate like stomach motions.
Yes,
fix, but
it's not the best, but it's like it's what needs to happen at an amusement park.
Yeah, it's just part of the process.
Exactly.
But no, I was remembering like going to like the state fair as a kid, and I was like, I could like smell the deep fried Twinkies.
Yes. Yeah.
It felt like being on vacation, which is perfect.
Oh wow, that's so beautiful. The initial idea originated from a county fair that I went to in Arlington, Virginia one summer with one of my friends, because we were in the DC area. And I just remember like the feeling of being there, like, and just like, it felt like fully separate from my like regular life. And I wanted to like bring that mood into this.
Oh yeah. Like I remember, taking the day off school was like to go to the state fair was like a huge thing.
Awesome.
And it was like just the most amazing, like you're in another world and you're just like, I am the like most like the freest, luckiest child on the planet right now. My friends are in math class and I'm eating a Twinkie. Yeah, it was like
it's
the most amazing
feeling. So freeing. Yeah. And the first time I went to like these amusement parks that I write about in the book was I did like orchestra for 2 years or 3 years. I really should have and wanted to do band, but they asked us to choose an instrument in 3rd grade if we wanted to. This is unrelated and no one cares, but we decided we had to.
I'm listening.
Okay, perfect. So we had to pick an instrument. In 2nd grade, they were like, you could wait another year, or you could play like the viola, the violin, or the cello. And I was like, yes, please, don't make me wait another year. So I picked the viola. I did not like playing the viola, but I was the worst of the best viola players by the time I reached 4th and 5th grade. So I got to go to the all-county concert, and we went to Dorney Park and Lake Compounce. And when I went then, I was way too scared to go on anything. But then when I went back, I went on the upside down roller coaster. I went on the like drop tower thingy.
Oh God.
That was
I can never do the tower ones. Oh my God.
Those are, I love
I'm like
those.
scared of elevators.
I love, one of my favorite things if I'm alone in an elevator, that was a fun secret that people will know about me, is that I like to jump in it, going up or down, so that I can feel like gravity happening.
Okay, we are not the same. Literally, one of my worst fears is like an elevator dropping.
I'm also deathly afraid of elevators. Like, I will not do this on an old rickety elevator. I'm very afraid of getting stuck in an elevator. I'm very afraid of getting crushed in half by an elevator door if I try to lift it up to sneak out between floors. That one's a little, I wouldn't do that. But yeah.
But your roller coaster credits list is varied and many.
Exactly.
There's like this. I was learning about all of this thing, and I was like looking in the comments of the YouTube videos for like people posting roller coaster credits. I was like, oh my God, this is like it's a whole culture out there.
No, the comments are really
learning about stuff like that.
The comments are so funny in those videos. Like I would laugh every time because they're always either like, oh yeah, like I there was a day I did this like 12 times. Like I got so much airtime, it was sick. Like I asked them to like unbuckle my like seat like one, and then there's other people who are like, love from Brazil. I've never been on a roller coaster and I'm too afraid to go on one, but I'll try. And it's like, I love these two moods.
Yep. Either you're like a fanatic or you're like, this is not for me, but I'm just having the experience. I'm living vicariously.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know
They're like,
my grandma wrote something in the chat. Disney World elevator.
This sounds like a story.
Okay. Maybe I'll ask you about that later, Grandma Carol.
Is there like a roller coaster that you mentioned in the book or you like did research on that you have not gone on but you want to go on?
Ooh, yeah, like all of them at Cedar Point, because I haven't been. So like any and all of them, it's the roller coaster capital of the world. I want to be there. I want to go there. All of them. Absolutely.
Oh, we got a question. I guess
it's related.
I mean, we'll just do it.
Yeah.
Which roller coaster that you wrote about is your favorite?
Okay. So I have a soft place in my heart, much like Dahlia, which I did write her and create her out of my brain. So this makes sense and tracks for Boulder Dash at Lake Compounds. It just, it's the roller coaster. It says, in case you can't read it, says, I went on Boulder. Wait, I wrote it. I don't even remember what it says.
It says, I went on Boulder Dash and all I got was this lousy sticker. And also my crush held my hand.
Wow, yeah. A little, not really a spoiler. We won't call it a spoiler. Also, I feel like most people have read it if you're in here. Not a spoiler.
Spoiler, there's hand holding at one point.
There's hand holding. So get ready. It's on the cover. It's not a spoiler. But yeah, see, you can see.
They're holding hands.
Yeah. But okay, so I love Boulder Dash also because you get a lot of airtime on Boulder Dash. I also love the Cyclone, even though it's so rickety. I've been on that one a ton too, since I am from Long Island, and that one's in Brooklyn. It's like will give you actual whiplash. Really enjoy that one though. I'm trying to think of like other ones I actually enjoy. I don't know. I love every roller coaster. I've never been on a roller coaster that I disliked. I'm sure I'll think of one that's not I have disliked, but I just love.
And what's your favorite kind? Because we all know so much about roller coasters. Like, do you like the upside down ones?
No. Okay. So I used to. I don't. Okay. Here's my hot take. I don't remember if I wrote this into the book, but I think upside down roller coasters, if their only excitement of the roller coaster is that you go upside down, are kind of overrated. I understand how, because
we're getting spicy.
No, because okay, first of all, when I was younger, this didn't happen as much, but now it does. I don't know what happened, but I sort of like lose my vision for like a second during the upside down part of it. I think this happens to a lot of people. Sound off in the comments if it happens to you as well or has happened to you. But my eyes sort of like, when you stand up too fast, you get like spot clouds in your vision, kind of that, but like for an extended period of time, it's a little freaky. And also, I feel like you're just, Rocky's concerned.
Hello?
Yeah, maybe I should get that one checked out. No, not permanently, not for a long time.
To financial compensation.
Yeah, but, and I feel like it just happens for like 2 seconds. But what I really like is when there's a lot of anticipation, you're going up a hill, there's a roller coaster with just a lot of drops. I'd be fine to go on a roller coaster that had no times when you're going upside down, but I love, this is apparently my hand motion for an upside down roller coaster. But as long as it had like a big drop, you get a lot of airtime. That's why I like Boulder Dash and a lot of wooden coasters, because you can't rely on like an upside down gimmick. It's just like how much airtime can you get, how fast can you go? And I think that's really fun.
It's like CGI versus like practical effects.
Yeah.
Where like the CGI may look more impressive, but like the practical effects feels more real.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I get that. And I also have writing questions because I'm always just really interested to hear about people's writing processes because I'm a nerd. But yeah, so like, what is your process? Like, do you I'm used to asking like fantasy authors about this. So I'm always like, how do you world build?
God, I'm right now starting to like draft a middle grade fantasy. So, but that's not going well. So don't even that. But for contemporary, kind of more my world. But I guess my writing process it was so varied, but I have to write off of an outline. I know a lot of people who don't have to, but I cannot finish something if I don't know what happens. And I know also people say like, oh, you lose the joy of like writing and discovery, but like I still discover like my characters will like say things that I don't expect them to say, but it's never something that like blows up the plot. It's usually just like, oh yeah, like this makes sense to what like they would say because I know this character now and like that kind of thing. So I'll write an outline. Usually I get an idea, maybe I'll like let it sit. I feel like I know an idea is like will work if I start hearing, like, I know authors say this and you're like, this sounds like a treatable condition, but it's not. Like, I will hear their voices in my head. Like, I'll hear dialogue that they might say, and it's not like they're talking to me saying like, Jake, write this, Jake, do that. It's like, I'll hear like, oh, they're having this conversation. I'll hear it really clearly in their two voices. Yeah. I usually start with dialogue, because I feel like I like done more like playwriting and that kind of stuff than like prose writing, which is why I feel like everything I write is kind of dialogue heavy, but that's kind of
it's still like voicey and like snappy.
So they'll talk to me and I'll write down those like conversations, and then I'll sort of build around that. Like, I'll be like, oh, this actually really makes sense to have gone like here in this part of the outline, whatnot. And then, you know, I feel like if I'm like really, if the story's really speaking to me, I'll draft it pretty quickly and then like go back for a while and revise. I don't know. I don't have like a daily writing ritual, which I definitely should have. And I think my life would probably be a lot better and easier and like more fulfilling if I did. But it's mostly like it's 9 p.m. and I'm on deadline and I'm like, oh, I should probably start writing now. So
no, same. Like before everything of the last year, I was like, you know, full-time day job. So I would just like every day after work, I would just go right into like midnight and stuff. So like the past year I had to like completely relearn how to do that from home. And it's been like, oh my God, it's been rough. Is it harder for you to work at home? But okay, cool.
Is it what?
Everyone I've talked to is like that. Is it harder for you to work? Like,
oh my God, I can't get
out, like, a
anything done. Oh my God, nothing. I get it's like pulling teeth. It's horrible. But yesterday for the first time, I was actually doing my day job from the coffee shop. But I went inside. I sat inside a coffee shop for the first time. And I was like, wow, people around me, like an annoying man taking a phone call that he definitely didn't need to take. Like, I'm scattering sesame seeds all over the table. Like, I could like kiss someone on the mouth. It was so good.
Oh my God. I also went to a cafe for the first time like 2 days ago.
Oh my God.
And I met up with a couple other writers, and one of them also said I listened to a man having a phone call in public and being too loud. Nature is healing.
Nature is literally healing.
Wow. It's really universal.
It really is. The men are really out here having bad phone calls. Oftentimes, I mean, this is, we can move on, but oftentimes I think that they're just like, there's no one on the other end of the line and they're like trying to prove that they're smart, but that's a whole other thing.
Yeah, it's like, who are you trying to impress in this coffee shop when all the rest of us have our headphones on? I don't need to know anything about your boring job.
Yeah.
I'm trying to write my gay little words.
My absolutely gay little words, please. I don't want to hear about your straight job. I'm wiping my nose.
What are you doing? Finances?
Yeah, get out of here.
But yeah, so like so you said like characters come first. So like, was Dahlia like the first character that came to mind for this, or was she like a little bit later?
Yeah, I mean, I think no. I definitely always things, much like how things don't work out if I don't have an outline, like things really don't work out if I don't like come from a place of character first. And so Dahlia definitely was like, I knew Dahlia would be the lead of the story before I knew what else was going to happen. And I knew Dahlia and I knew Alexa. And then like everyone sort of like fell into place after that, because I knew there would be like an older stepsister figure who was also queer. And that was like, and like roller coasters. And that was like sort of what I started from. And then I sort of just go through the process of like thinking about what the character, you know, wants, needs, what's in their way, classic stuff.
Obstacles.
Little fun obstacles. But it is really helpful to just like write out their wants and write out their needs. Cause like Dahlia has very clear wants. And I think that like, I brought back, I feel like it always starts for me. It's like, oh, Dahlia's like, there's like a ticking clock, like Dahlia needs like, or this is a want, but she's like, I need to go to an amusement park before school starts. And that's like her big want. But her need is to like have a community and like realize that she is like, you know, she's her own person who like her identity is valid. But it's like much easier to start with that like want and think like, okay, why is this character like delusional and in what way? And then also, and then I sort of, you start thinking about that in your own life and you're like, what do I want and what are my needs? It gets a little deep there.
Yeah, you start being like, oh my God, how is my arc going?
Yeah, where am I? Am I at the midpoint? Am I earlier? Yeah, not midpoint of like life, but midpoint of like of the specific narrative that you're engaging with.
In the rising action of my life.
Yeah, exactly. No more spring, summer, fall, winter. Rising action, climax. Denouement,
or however you say that word. Some French pronunciation.
Denouement.
But yeah, and it's so fun to do that, especially for middle grade, because like, not that it's simpler, but like everything is just so, and I feel like this is YA as well, where everything is just so like kind of pure and intense.
Yes.
Like, everything is kind of the end of the world, even if it's like, she just wants to ride a roller coaster before school starts, but it still feels like, like the crux of her existence is that she needs to do this. And it's like it's part of what like draws me to writing like younger characters, like that just like amazing, like enviable intensity for every single feeling.
I think that's so true. And I always say that when people ask me like what draws me to middle grade, what draws me to young adult, is that every emotion, even like, I think I write like, the books I write aren't that like serious. They're funny and they're like kind of light, but like the emotions are so serious. Like I think about my own self in middle school, and like the smallest things were the end of the world. And like, it's nice to have that perspective, but at the same time, it's like, it's a very interesting experience to think back and be like, okay, if someone told me that like they didn't like my shorts, or if they did like my shorts, as in the case of the book, like I would, for the first one, probably like sprint away and cry, like sob, because it is the end of the world. Like if someone says something about you, you have I personally had no sense of self. I had no sense of identity outside of like validation from external sources, which I was not receiving at school or other places like that. So I think like middle schoolers are feeling every single feeling dialed up to a million. And like, I know that my girlfriend always like tells the story of how one of her like middle school teachers has had this thing where they would say like, I think middle schoolers should like all be put on a farm somewhere, and like they just spend 3 years like secluded away from the rest of the world, and then like when you're done you can come back. But like they should not be integrated with the rest of society.
Yeah. Just do like take care of some cows for a while while you're still developing. Just chill out.
Precisely.
But like if that did happen, then just the farm would be like a hotbed of like drama and gossip and tears. Oh my God, anyway.
it would be
no escape.
But it would be separate from like adults saying rude things to you, or like trying to figure out like your own individual like human circumstance, while also like your body is changing and like everything is terrible and you want to die. Like it would just be like you're with cows. Like pet the cow.
Cows makes everything better. I wish I was with a cat right now.
God, that'd be fully amazing. Same. You have your little spotted dog though. Your speckled dog is pretty close.
She's very cute. She just ignores me though. I try to like, I'm like, oh, I love you so much, you're my baby. She's just like, hello? What are you doing? She's a jerk. But yeah, no, like I remember, I was feeling this so much with Dahlia and Abby as well, because like, that heartbreak is so real. Like, especially like the best friend heartbreak. Like, I was like, never experienced anything exactly like that, but definitely for sure similar things. And especially like, that kind of confusing thing where like, it's not like they had a huge fight or anything. She just sort of like lost her to popularity.
Yeah.
And like the kind of thing that like they're both going to realize years down the line was silly, because popularity in middle school is silly. But like at the time, it's so real and so heartbreaking, and just like, it's just gut wrenching. So no, I feel like we kind of put ourselves through this all over again.
I know. Yeah.
In a really good way.
I'm so glad I'm not in middle school, but like it is. Yeah. And it's funny you mentioned like Abby, because this book is dedicated. I can find the dedication. It's dedicated to my childhood best friend, who is convinced that Abby is based off of her. It's not. It's not entirely wrong, but it's also not correct.
Yeah.
Because she also thinks it says to Gina, my squirrel, if our friendship survived middle school, it can survive anything. But it very nearly didn't survive middle school because she was much more popular than me. And we sort of drifted apart. But we came right back to each other, which is kind of why I also included the part where Alexa's like, you're probably going to text her in like 5 years about like a random thing. Like you are always bonded by like growing up together and just having like lived together and like cared about each other for however long you did care about each other. So like, I mean, I think it is a difference. I don't know what happens with Dahlia and Abby in the future, but like me and my friend Gina are like, very close still. So it always like, you know, you can find your way back.
Yeah. And especially like, again, like as you grow older and like there is, you know, with a special friendship like that, there's like, there doesn't necessarily need to be like that huge moment of like, I'm so sorry, like the big forgiveness moment. Like you can just kind of acknowledge that like middle school makes you insane. And like, you know, you're like kids and you do silly things and hurtful things. And, you know, you have a lot of like empathy for that as you grow older, even if it hurt you as the time, which is something I love about middle grade as well. Like, you know, like having these characters who are, you know, like hurtful and doing like kind of, you know, comparatively like mean things or whatever, but knowing that, you know, you're still growing and it's gonna get better. Like not to be corny, but like it gets better.
Not to be like a 2010 ad campaign, but like it literally does get better. Like middle school literally does so bad. No, I think like everything just left my brain that I was about to say. But what I was going to say is that in an earlier draft, there was she really made up with Abby in a much bigger way than she does in this draft. And I think this was sort of my editor's suggestion. I agree with everything my editor says. She's amazing. But I think it was a really great suggestion because it's not like they ended on a fight or anything. They just ended in an ambiguous way of middle school friendship. And I think that's like, it's like, okay, I might wave to her in the hallway. And like, that's so much more realistic than like, and now we're best friends again and we'll do like everything together. So I think like it was nice to like change that and be like, we might not actually be best friends, but like, I still have so much love in my heart for you and for our friendship.
Exactly. Like, you know, people just drift apart and like, you know, that's just how it goes. You know, you're especially in middle grade, like middle school to high school, like things just happen. And like, there doesn't need to be like hatred or anything like that. You can just accept it and still know like, if you showed up at my door in 5 years and you needed help, I would just help you, no questions asked or whatever.
Exactly.
You know, like just have that kind of connection. Yeah. No, I really love that. Especially as like, you know, for kids reading it to know like it just happens. It's life. It's okay. You also get to hold your crush's hand sometimes on a roller coaster.
Sometimes you get to hold your crush's hand.
That's amazing.
I always think of like, okay, what happens next for like Dahlia and Ronnie? Like, no spoilies, because I'm sure some people haven't read the book, but it's fun to think. I'm like, oh, I don't know. Probably they like they don't know each other in 10 years, but like it's so beautiful that they had this moment together. Like they follow each other on Instagram. Like, but still.
I know, like, and it's weird, like going from like writing like YA fantasy where it's like it's much different because like romance and YA fantasy is often like you're 16 years old and like literally like this is like that's your forever love or whatever. Yeah. So like like writing middle grade where it's like this is your first crush. Like I barely remember my first crush's name. Like could not tell you what they're up to, but I'm sending them love. I hope they're
I'm
awesome.
sending love to all the boys I had crushes on before I realized I was gay.
To all the boys I've had crushes on before. But like they, you know, it doesn't have to be like they're, you know, like they're cheesy forever thing or whatever. It just be like this awesome first crush relationship that is just like so like sweet and like loving and like just know like they care about each other so much as people. It was just like, I love them. I made them so cute. I loved Ronnie so much.
I love, they are my children. I love them. I care for them. I'm annoyed by them. And I don't think I'm ever going to read this book again. So I hope other people enjoy them.
Same. I read it so many times while editing and now I just, that door is closed.
The world can have it. Like I remember what I wrote kind of, and I don't need to know everything.
It belongs to the readers now.
Yeah.
Hello.
All right. You ready for some Q&A?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to start with the one in the chat and then move over to the ask question ones. If you have any questions, be sure to ask them.
Write them in the chat. I know half of you are my family and related to me, so please ask questions.
Sally asked, actually, which character surprised you the most during your writing process, whether they turned out differently from how you first envisioned or just by their development, etc.?
That's such a beautiful question. Thank you, Sally. That's a really good question. I would say, oh boy, Sally, really asking the deep questions. Could have texted me about this one beforehand, huh?
Think on your feet.
Yeah, no, I mean, I honestly don't think it's Dahlia, because I think that I knew Dahlia's arc going into it, but I think Ronnie has changed a lot, because for me, it took me a while to realize that she, like, or for her to tell me through it sounds so like, but like it is like, you know, learning about her through writing, for me to realize like she knew she was queer already. She knew she was queer at her old school. She knew she had feelings for Dahlia, but like she was just nervous to tell her because she didn't think Dahlia was feeling those same things, which hilarious. But you know, that's the way of middle school. So I think Ronnie was the person who changed the most, just because I realized that she like knew more that she wasn't saying, and then I was able to sort of add some hints and like write that in to the later parts of the book.
Amazing. All right. So Michelle asked, also Sally apologizes.
Yes, I see. Thank you, Sally.
Michelle asked, what made you decide to use roller coasters / amusement parks for the plot?
I mean, I think it really was just loving roller coasters. Like, I didn't know about them as much as like I made Dahlia know about them, but I love amusement parks. I love roller coasters. I think like one of the best, like I didn't really go to like camp as a kid. So like the best thing for me about summer was like going to an amusement park. So I think like being able to write that in, and also I mean, I've received a lot of feedback, mostly from parents who are like, it's so unrealistic that any parent would let their 13-year-old child go on a road trip with like two 18-year-olds, which like fair. It's a fictional novel. Like it's kind of like, yeah, it's okay. Like we can suspend reality for 5 minutes, but
it's escapist fantasy.
Yeah, exactly. But I think I was like, it's also like a way, this like road trip, it's like not just a regular road trip, it's also like a roller coaster road trip. I wanted to write about roller coasters, honestly, and I think it was my editor who was the one who really pushed me to make it more like of also a metaphorical thing as well, which I think the pieces were there, but you know, there is of course the roller coaster metaphor available to you. So yeah, I think it was both of those things.
Raquel asked, do y'all, both of you, have different processes for writing YA versus middle grade?
Oh my God, yes. I mean, mine are both contemporary, the YA and the middle grade that I've written, but for my middle grade, everything's very earnest. All the feelings they're having are completely unironic and 10,000% megawatts. For YA, it's the same. The feelings are huge, but it's much more ironic to them. It's more subtle and jaded. Also because my YA, which I don't know, add to your Goodreads, it has a new name. It's called How to Excavate a Heart. It's coming out in winter 2022.
I love that title.
Oh, thank you. Another sapphic book, sapphic Jewish Christmas rom-com, etc. But Jim, hi Jim. I'm glad I plugged it now, or else I feel like Jim would be like, missed opportunity. But I feel like for them it's very different, because they're both feeling their feelings 1,000%, like Nina, you were talking about before, but the way they're expressing them is very, very different. And even when I was in middle school, the way I would express my emotions was so different to when you've had like a little more life experience and you want people to know nothing about you and you hate the world. So I think there were just two different perspectives. I'm curious about your thoughts, Nina, too.
Yeah, I mean, mine is like especially kind of a big shift because, like, you know, the YA series I did was like very much fantasy, like secondary world, like there's, you know, robots and stuff, da, da, da. And so, and like the character was in like Ayla was just such a different, like intense, like, you know, revolutionary situation. So like, and now I'm like kind of going to my middle grade, which is about a very normal, like, you know, normal sixth grader. She's just like moved from Texas to Florida, and suddenly the girl that she's been having dreams about and she's been like drawing because she's an art nerd, shows up in her bedroom hitting a sword around, and it turns out that she's real and from a parallel universe and has to get back there. So it's like it's both like contemporary and like, you know, and a portal fantasy where you have to go, you know, like help save this island that has a lot of magical problems happening with it.
Okay, we should talk because I'm also working on a queer middle grade portal fantasy. Sounds very different from yours, but I want to chat.
Yes. Okay. Let's talk.
Okay, let's chat. I mean, I'm also so excited for yours. I can't wait for that. Wait, what is the myth that it's a retelling of, or partially a retelling of?
Yeah, Pygmalion and Galatea, which is like a super like very. It's not like a very like detailed myth. Like literally what happens is Pygmalion wants a wife and that he's like a horrible person. So he's like, none of these women are good enough for me. So he sculpts like this beautiful, like perfect statue and then prays Aphrodite, and Aphrodite is like, I'll do you solid, and makes his statue into a real woman. So it has like all of these kind of like really gross like you know, implications and stuff. And so it's sort of like a little bit of a retelling, a little bit of like almost just like a fantasy, like branching off of that. But yeah, but like it's definitely the same for me, where the earnestness is such a big part of it, because I went from writing a character who again is like very, very cynical and angry and jaded and stuff like that, to Juniper, who's like her whole thing is just she's just like really lonely. I know, I love it. I love writing it. She's just like really lonely and quiet and miserable and like, you know, like having all of these first crush feelings, and like, but in like a really positive way, as opposed to like Ayla, who is like, I do not want any part of this the entire time. So yeah, it is just like that, like sort of big heartedness, and you know, exactly as you said, like the lack of irony and the lack of any cynicism, and just like feeling everything turned up to 11, but like in like a really kind of sweet, you know, young way. Yeah, which I really like. Yeah, it's been like really really nice, because she's like, you know, she's like kind of a sarcastic little character, but she's like, I love that. She's a sweetheart. So yeah, so no, it's been really fun. Yeah, it's nice being earnest.
Yes.
So Andrew asks, in what ways do you think you and Dahlia are most similar and different?
Oh, I'm assuming this is my friend Andrew. If so, I'm sure he could answer this almost better than me. But I mean, I think that of course there is a lot of myself in Dahlia, as it is almost impossible to write something without putting at least some of yourself into the character. But I think the things that are like on the outside, a lot of our just like our circumstances are similar. You know, I made her also be from Long Island, also be Jewish, also have parents who are divorced. But I think where Dahlia and I like very much differ is that she, even though she is incredibly anxious and like, you know, has that going for her. She knows who she is in a really big way, even if she doesn't know that she knows who she is. Like she is passionate about roller coasters. She is queer and she knows it, but it takes a little while to get there. And I think I didn't know who I was as a middle schooler. I had interests, I had passions, but I was too self-conscious to like express them or care about them, or, you know, I don't know. I was nerdy and I was not shy, but maybe more reserved in talking about the things that I really loved, and that changed as I got older. But I think I wanted Dahlia to be able to learn to do that, like within the pages of the book, and so I think that's sort of where we differ.
Carol asked, is Dahlia going to be okay next year?
What does that mean? Yeah, I mean, I hope
Me
so.
too.
I mean, high school isn't like super fun for anyone.
Well,
but...
she's going into 8th grade.
Right, eighth grade, right?
Which not fun, but it's the best of the middle school years for sure.
That's true. King of the campus.
Exactly. I don't know. I hope she'll be happier and more at peace with herself. But I don't know. Senior year of middle school is correct. Yeah.
I mean, she's been on roller coasters now. She's achieved that dream.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And she has Ronnie. She has Alexa and Drew. I think she'll be good. I think she'll be better.
She's in a better place than I was going in 8th grade.
Oh, fully same. Very same.
And we both turned out okay. So
exactly. I think honestly, maybe Dolly is peaking too soon. Like something bad will happen. She'll knock her down a peg.
YA sequel.
Yeah.
All right. So the last question is from Jessica. What are your favorite tropes, both to read and write?
Oh boy. Okay. I think about this a lot. I feel like for middle grade, I don't put as many tropes in. I mean, there is the only one bed trope in this book, actually, but that I didn't. I wrote that like scene, and I was like, oh my god, I just wrote an only one bed scene. I fully did not mean to or realize it. But I think for middle grade, I really I don't plan out tropes. Like I don't think like, okay, there's going to be X, Y, and Z in it, because I really think like, especially for like. I think when you're in high school, when you're older, you're more aware of like what the romantic tropes are, and you like want your life to adhere more to those. But when you're in middle school, it's sort of just like, I don't know, I have a crush, and like maybe they like me back, and like here's things that are happening. So I think for YA, I love every trope, and I want every trope to be gay. I mean, personally, my 2022 YA is not enemies to lovers, because they're not enemy, but it's like hate to love. And snowed in, and nice. I don't know. There's a dog. I don't think that's a trope, but the dog's a big part of it.
A friendly pet animal companion.
Yeah. No, I you know what? Do you have? I do you have any middle grade favorite tropes? I'm curious to hear.
I guess I honestly like. I literally barely know what a trope is. Like I can name a trope when I see it, but like I know this is exactly a trope.
I mean, you notoriously also have only one bed in your
I have only one bed. Only one bed. Enemies to lovers, obviously.
Yes, obviously.
Found family. Yeah, like I always love found family. Yes. Like a big part of like Juniper is like she finds her people, and she finds like her friends at her new school and stuff. And I'm always just like, friendship. Okay. But like. Oh, I guess I do have a pair of, I don't know if I can get those. Spoilers, sort of. There's a pair of lesbian goddesses that like kind of like die and kill for each other. So
what?
So I know it's gonna remember this. No one's gonna remember this. It's fine.
No, everyone remember it and buy the book because of that. Wait, in Juniper? That's amazing.
Yeah, because like Galatea is from this world, which like it's like it's like fantasy like based on Greek mythology, but very much like its own mythology. And so I did put some lesbian goddesses in there who like I won't curse on this, but they mess stuff up, and they have some like sword moments. Yeah. So
oh my god, please, whenever this arc is available, please send it to me.
Written.
I will simply beg for it.
Okay, we'll chat Portal Fantasy.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, wait, I have one more question for you.
Okay.
It's very important. What's your bagel order?
Okay, thank you for asking.
Bagels are such a big part of this book.
Okay. I have a confession to make, and I'm going to tell it here because I know there's only 20 people watching, and half of you already know this. My current bagel order is not this, and it's a very good bagel order. First of all, Long Island bagel is the best. Fresh, hot out of the oven. If they're hot, you don't need to toast them. That's the first thing. My mother can attest to this. When I was a young child and I'm of course a vegetarian now, I'm a lesbian. But when I was 8 or younger, because I became a vegetarian when I was like 8. But when I was like, I don't know, a small child, I ate a cinnamon raisin bagel with tuna. it wasn't. It's a food crime. It's a food crime, and we know this. And I'm sorry. And I'm here to ask for forgiveness for that. And it feels really good. It feels really good to get that off my chest. Sally, you already knew that.
That was somehow so much worse than whatever I was picturing.
Okay, but to make amends to that, my current order is I forgot Cynthia Nixon's is so heinous too. Cynthia Nixon, a beautiful bisexual. We love that for Cynthia Nixon. Maybe all queer women have bad bagel orders, but
that's how you know.
Yeah. No, but my current bagel order is untoasted if it's a fresh Long Island bagel, toasted if it's not. Sesame bagel with cream cheese. Simple.
Perfect. You've grown up a lot.
Yes.
You moved on.
All right. So, question for both of you. Are there any upcoming projects you want to plug? Tell people to pre-order. And is there anywhere that you'd like people to follow you on, or anything else you want to tell people to go to?
Okay, first of all, I'm on the other. You pointed that to me. I'm in the middle. I don't know where other people are seeing me though.
Somewhere over there.
Yeah, but well, please, if you haven't bought Almost Flying, like, what if you just watch an hour of this? What are you doing? Like, buy it from Astoria Bookshop, please. Mm-hmm. It's signed. If you're my family and you want a signed copy, buy it from Astoria Bookshop.
We ship wherever you are.
There we go. Mm-hmm. You can add How to Excavate a Heart on Goodreads. That's my 2022 YA. I'll hopefully soon have more news about my next middle grade, but that's coming up sometime in the future. And you can find me at Jake Who's a Girl on Twitter. I can say words. I got there. Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
Oh, TikTok. Oh, you're cooler than me. I can't do TikTok.
It's mostly just videos of my cat and my girlfriend, so don't expect book promotion there. Yeah.
That's perfect. That's what everyone's here for. My next project is Juniper Harvey and the Vanishing Kingdom, which does not have any pre-order links up yet because it's 2022, but added on Goodreads. It's up to be added on Goodreads. And then I'm on Twitter at Nina Varela's with an S on the end because someone else already took the Nina Varela.
Wow, that's so weird.
And then I know. And then on Instagram, Nina Varela's and then an underscore because my name is very common. So there's a lot of us.
We're all set. Thank you all for joining us. I want to remind you all that we have actually 3 YA events next week. Yeah, one for Bethany C. Morrow's A Chorus Rises. One with Ryan Lasala and Victoria Lee, where they're going to do some science experiments, which is cool.
These all sound good. Register for these.
Yeah, and then an event with Inkyard Press for a virtual Pride event. Don't forget to buy that signed copy. Right down there, there is a little green button.
It'll be, listen, to the 5 people who are still here, it will be so embarrassing if no one buys a copy of this. Please, one person buy 1 copy of this.
And support Astoria Bookshop, of course.
Yes, thank you. Thank you to my mom.
Thank you all for joining us, and thank you too for
thank you, Nina.
Thank you so much.
And also, yeah, thank you to the Astoria.
Thank you so much for organizing this.
Yeah, thank you. This was amazing.
For writing this amazing book, which I love so much. It was so fun.
Oh. All right. Bye, everyone.